as was mentioned, 8 years. Wow, coming, here and doing this. And for sure, the last 4 years have been the most challenging years in history for BART. And it would have been really easy for me to bow out in 2020. And I wanted to bow out in 2020, actually, and others convinced me to keep going. And I'm glad that I did. While it was no pleasure cruise, as Freddie Mercury would say, it was very challenging in improving the rider experience, which I think we're getting there. There's still a lot more to do. And of course, very fiscally challenging as the pandemic gutted our ridership and we struggled to recover. The real question to answer now, 4 years later after the pandemic is, what does recovery look like? And I'm not sure that we've really defined that. Is it a new normal with incremental increases over time, or are we still hoping that somehow we're going to get back to that 100% of fiscal year 2019 level? On recovery right now, we are less than 50% there. On the fiscal front, we're 134% there. That's because we're spending 34% more today than we did in fiscal year 19. And we are operating in a system with less than 50% of the ridership we carried in 2019. It's also been very personally challenging for me, watching this agency continue to increase operational spending by 12 to 13% each year when the ridership has not recovered at the same rate, and adding even more to the annual deficits. That leaves us in a place where we run out of emergency assistance in early 2026. And what is left is to rely on state and federal governments, which don't seem to have a whole lot of money left, or a voter ballot initiative to raise taxes to fund the structural deficits, because it seems clear that spending will continue to increase here. Here are the highlights for me over the last 8 years. Transparency and accountability to the taxpayers and riders who pay for the cost of this system. That's what I promised when I ran in 2016. That's what I spent 8 years doing. What does that look like, transparency and accountability? It began with the creation of the Office of BART Inspector General. I spent a large amount of my early efforts in 2017 on the accountability issue. And ultimately, the IG office was legislated in 2018 with State Senator Steve Glazer. But I was there through the whole way from 2017 through the passage of that voter initiative. But there was much more work to do after the creation of that office. And I've been there every step of the way since with 2 IGs now. The IG office was also an instrumental step that paved the way for other initiatives that I've long advocated for, including the audit committee, the financial structure audit, a new CFO, which was mentioned, joins us this year, and multiple administrative problems that were uncovered through these audits in a whole variety of areas. Of course, I worked on many other things along the way over the 8 years, including early advocacy for improving public safety, station hardening, the fare gate replacement. I believe Director McPartland called me a dog with a bone at one point. And continuous pressure to expand the number of sworn police officers present in our system. With all that, I wanted to depart by giving a gift to my colleagues. So what do you buy San Francisco Democrat politicians that seem to have everything they need? Well, it took a while, but I think I came up with something that you all might need over the next 4 years. You might not, but just in case, if things don't go well in 2026 on the ballot initiative to get taxpayers to fill those $350 million of annual deficits. I know you all don't think you'll need this, but I bought you each one of these. So I don't know if you can see it from out there, but this is the dark MAGA hat. Okay. And just in case when you're walking the halls of Congress, I have one here for each of you, and I'll hand them out with a personal letter to each of you that is personal to each of you. I won't read those, but hopefully you'll take it in jest and know that I know you are all not, that none of you are MAGA supporters, but that you may want to have some fun with this. Thank you. Jesus Christ.
Director Lee. Oh, I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Vice President Foley. I'm sorry.